In 2011, I had a major health crisis. While the doctors were trying to figure out what I had, I was actually quarantined for over a month. During this time, I remember feeling sad, isolated, disconnected from my friends and family the way I was used to, and I felt like my life had been turned upside down. When I was finally diagnosed, it was really clear to me it wasn't just going to be 2 weeks of antibiotics, but actually 18 months of treatment. I also remember during that time when I felt my sickest, I had no energy. I didn't care if I ate, and I certainly didn't have energy to put a healthy meal on the table for my family. But I was lucky. I had good friends and family who provided us with meals, who were there to care for me and to nourish me when I needed it. At that same time, my sister Catherine developed a nonprofit in California that provided healthy meals for families going through a health crisis just like mine, and she invited young people into the kitchen to prepare those meals. After watching what she developed, I knew I was going to start this in Connecticut someday. It was my dream, because after going through what I went through, I wanted to be able to give back. So fast forward to 2015, myself and 3 other women started Healing Meals Community Project. We modeled it after the work my sister is doing in California. And just like Catherine, we too provide healthy organic meals to families in crisis, and we have invited teens into our kitchen to learn about healthy eating and how good it feels to give back to their community. After 4 years and serving 425 families in and around the greater Hartford area and preparing over 46,000 meals, one thing we've learned is that 35% of our clients are living alone, many of them feeling that same isolation that I felt. The other thing we know is that research shows that being socially connected improves the odds of survival by 50%. What I didn't realize when I started this organization is the true importance of connection, the impact that it has on a person, and how we can actually nourish each other. Let me explain. Imagine a kitchen filled with 30 people. They range in age from a freshman in high school up to somebody in their mid-70s. They come from all walks of life, all with their stories to tell. And yet when they walk into that kitchen, they become singularly focused on preparing those meals. It is in this selfless act where a community is built. Food becomes that avenue for connection. We couldn't do it without our dedicated volunteers, and we've had over 1,300 volunteers help us in these last 4 years. But the thing that happens for us is, while we're in there cooking and preparing these meals, wanting to nourish our clients, we're actually nourishing ourselves. I am overwhelmed when I walk into the kitchen during a shift. The buzz in the kitchen is amazing. The energy is palpable. And I love watching people connecting over chopping vegetables, dicing onions, sautéing, doing dishes, and even taking out the garbage. I give my executive chef, Donna, kudos every week because she gives up her kitchen to a group of people with limited cooking experience. At least that's how they got started. And yet, whether there's 10 people who come into that kitchen that week or 50, at the end of the week, we have made beautiful food made with love that is being delivered to those clients. Sometimes things don't go according to plan. For instance, this past summer, It was about 100 degrees, or at least it felt that way in the kitchen. And then the dishwasher backed up. There was water flowing through the kitchen. And the adults and the teens decided that it would be best to take the dishes out and at least get them rinsed off while the dishwasher was being fixed. Out of nowhere came a torrential downpour. So think about that. 100 degrees, dishwasher back up, torrential downpour. One of those things could have undone that kitchen that day, but none of them did. Actually, the energy was even more palpable. At the end of the shift, a young woman said, "I almost didn't show up today. This was the best day ever." We live in this world of uncertainty and fear where sometimes it feels like the bad news far outweighs the good. Our teens struggle every day to feel purpose and to feel like they matter. Cigna did a study last year on loneliness, and it showed that our young people are actually lonelier than our aging seniors. This is tragic to me, and I would think it would be tragic to you as well. You know, we can say it's the internet, the social media, our cell phones, but here's the thing. Those aren't going to go away. We are choosing not to be present. We are making that choice. So we need to choose differently. We need to make a choice to truly connect with each other, to be more present. That is what's going to save us. That is what's going to make this world a kinder and gentler place. And I believe that so deeply. I watch our young people come into the kitchen for the first time, and I watch them grow in confidence, compassion, communication skills, and they realize that they are making a difference in the world. They come with their struggles, just like the adults do, but when they walk into that kitchen and they put their cell phones in that shoe pocket and they put their aprons on, they know for the next 3 hours it is about being there and serving somebody else. The energy sometimes must be so good because we hear from our clients that they feel the love in every bite. And we hear that over and over. I asked a young woman one time why she shows up, sometimes on both days. And she said, "Sarah, I love this." And I said, "But what is it that you love about it?" She said, "I love the way my heart feels when I leave." And I thought to myself, oh, that's it. I'd never been able to articulate it that way, but that's the feeling I've had. And I think, what would the world be if we all had a full heart? I believe it would be a kinder and gentler place. There are devastatingly high rates of suicide in our young people. I don't know why this is happening, and I certainly don't have an answer. But one thing I do know is that when a young person realizes they have made a difference in the life of another human being, they realize they matter. My sister was asked one time if she worked with at-risk youth. And I loved what she said. She said, all youth are at risk if they don't have a sense of purpose and belonging. Well, I believe that's true for all of us. Often in our kitchen, I asked our teens if they'll write thank you notes to our donors. It's a great way for them to kind of share what this experience means to them. And I like to read those notes before they go out. I read this one note, and it took me back. It surprised me. It was written by a young woman who is very active in our program. She's a straight-A student, comes from a good family. And this is what she said. I love coming to Healing Meals because of the energy. Before coming, I didn't realize that positive energy existed. I didn't realize that positive energy existed. Wow. And yet she goes on to say, when I walk through the doors of the kitchen, a wave of it hits me. No matter what kind of day I've had, whether I'm stressed or I'm sad or I'm happy, I find myself smiling because I get to be part of a group of lovely people who make 400 meals for people feeling unwell. I love being here. My hope is that everybody who walks through our doors or receives our meals feels that same positive energy, because I know that the next person that they're going to come in contact with is going to feel that energy, and that's going to change that person. And then that person is going to come in contact with someone, and that's going to change them. And that is what I believe is how the ripple of kindness in our community is going to change. We do that through food, but there's so many ways to do that. I want to share one last thing with you. On your tables, you see that there are note cards. Those note cards were made by a woman in her 90s. Everyone is unique and beautiful. She's not able to come into the kitchen, but this is her way of connecting with our clients. This is your opportunity. Just like our youth who come into the kitchen, and during their shift, they sit down and they write a feel-good note to every one of our clients. Every week, our clients receive a handwritten note from our youth. And let me tell you, I had no idea the impact those notes would have. It is often the first thing a client will say to us. I love the note cards from the youth. I read and I reread them, and I feel loved and cared for. So you have a note. Maybe this is your opportunity to write a note to a friend, a family member. Maybe you could write a note to somebody you don't even know and leave it somewhere. We all could use a feel-good note. Help us grow the ripple of kindness in our community. Take these moments to connect with each other and become more present. Trust me, it will change you. Time spent nourishing each other and connecting with each other will come back to you tenfold with a heart that is full. Thank you.